So without further ado, I'll share my screen and kick off the presentation. Awesome. So to start off, a little bit about Vergo. We are a startup that's focused exclusively in the construction industry. We launched early last year, and since then I've been working with dozens of accounting and finance teams in the construction industry. We find there's a really good fit where we work with accounting and finance teams who are looking to modernize their processes and move those repetitive, maybe painful processes outside of Excel. So today we're going to be talking about our expense management module, but we also have other modules that we can chat about later on. So to quickly introduce the agenda, so we're going to talk about three things today. One is, why is this process so painful in the first place? Kind of aligning on the problems that we solve. The second is diving straight into our demo on how Vergo can help solve this. And as I mentioned, we'll be sending a follow-up email with a video recording of this session and some more information about how we can have follow-up calls, one-on-ones, whatever you need to learn more about the solution. So quick introduction to some of the members of the team. I'm Rich, I'm the CEO and founder at Vergo. Before this, I actually ran my own construction company and basically found really challenging to manage the accounting and financing component. So started building software that became basically what Vergo is known today. Jordan, we have on the call today, he'll be doing the demo with me. He's our head of products. His dad's in the construction industry, so he knows exactly all the pain points as well. And Nick, one of our accounting managers, on the call as well. So I don't know if Nick and Jordan, if you want to introduce yourselves real quick.
Yeah, I'm Jordan. I'm the head of product. I'll be leading the demo after Rich gives a quick overview.
Nick, I'm the accounting manager. If you have any questions, you'll probably receive an email from me that you can reply to. But yeah, excited to show you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So yeah, what are the problems that we're solving and just getting alignment on kind of the core pain points that we're trying to solve with our expense management module? So first, having spoken to, number of teams in this industry, getting receipts from the field is like one of the overarching main pain points. So a lot about the solution that we've built is making that as simple and easy as possible for both the field and the accounting team. So, field not submitting receipts, the manual process of chasing people down for those receipts, and also unapproved expenses. So part of the demo, we're going to be explaining how we solve those. The second part is the manual Excel-based processes that fit around, downloading a credit card statement, coding those to your accounting codes, that repetitive process of manually entering those into the ERP and manual reconciliations that come off of that. And then finally is how that can delay things like client billing, book closes, and really understanding your project across accounting. So without further ado, Jordan's going to share in a minute a bit more about the product and how it works. But just to kind of like highlight some of the things we're going to be talking about. One is that integration with your ERP, which is obviously a massive component of this to give that seamless experience. The second is one of our like really core and key features, which is the connecting of your credit cards. We enable you to connect any credit card that pulls in those transactions in real time. Then there's submitting of the receipts. Obviously, there's the experience for the field, the project managers we want to highlight, but also for the accounting team for any business expenses. Auto matching, so receipts auto matching with transactions, teams and approval workflows, and the accounting team review before it gets submitted to the ERP, and then how that ERP looks. So quickly, just to highlight the integrations that we support currently, you can see them here. We do read and write integrations for each of these. Our integrations are very simple, and we've done this a number of times now, so they take about 1 to 2 weeks to configure. Every company has maybe some nuances or slight changes in their setup, so the time can really depend on that. But in general, it's a very quick and seamless process. So I'll hand over now to Jordan if he wants to take the lead.
Hey, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Come through? Great. Basically, some of the problems that Rich went over are the key reasons why we created Vergo and why we believe a better software could exist. What we hear from a lot of our clients are the field team, project managers, and the back office, and the CEO and the lead management team don't have direct insight or a place to collaborate with to collaborate on information together. So that's how we see Vergo. The field teams, the boots on the ground, project managers are the lifeblood, the information gatherers of everything that's happening. The finance team is collecting data, they're collecting receipts, they're collecting all the transactions that are happening at any given time. And the CEO wants to solve the problems for everyone who works within the company, but sometimes doesn't know how. And we see Vergo as a connecting piece for all those pieces and all those employees within the company to come together to share that information, to give more insight, to ultimately save time with every single role within your company so everyone can do what they do best, maybe bid on more projects, be more profitable. And that's ultimately our goal. So we're developing products and modules for every aspect of the employees within those roles. And so everyone can move between what they're doing faster. So I'm in the Vergo dashboard here, and I'm logged in. As you can see, for this account, I'm logged in as Bill Smith, as an administrator, and we have connected directly to the ERP. This is also another big problem that we hear from clients is they're using other software that was never meant to be used for construction. And so the software does not talk to their ERP at all. And that causes a lot of issues and headaches when you want to actually push all the data that you're collecting for your expense management to that ERP and have everything sync. So the beauty of Vergo, and one of the very unique things about Vergo, is everything talks to your ERP. All the projects that you have in your ERP, all the codes that you have in your ERP are all automatically pulled into Vergo. So the team can code them in real time without any issues. In the dashboard as well, another unique feature about us is that you have on-demand customer service. So anytime you want a question, you can ask our team here and send a message. It's always in your dashboard. Our team is always available to talk to you any issues that you may have. So on-demand customer service out of the box. And as you can see from the beginning home screen, we get a quick overview of what's going on within the company with expense management specifically. So chasing receipts, that's one thing. Are people uploading the receipts based on expenses? Are they coding the receipts to the jobs correctly? And are those transactions being matched with the receipts and married so they can be pushed to the ERP? And then ultimately, are we marking those transactions that are coming in through our credit card expenses as approved, as reported? Are they in the ERP? Are they good to go at the end of the month? You know, we have heard from many teams that it takes weeks and weeks and weeks to close the end of the month books. They're chasing people at the end of the month for receipts, but Vergo allows you to upload your receipts in real time, code them in real time. So the finance team and the back office team has the ability to work as the expenses are coming through and not at the end of the month, causing chaos for everybody. So we'll go through some of the analytics here, and then we'll go through how to quickly set up the account and avoid this chasing of receipts, avoid this like chaos of expense management that everyone is experiencing. So we can see here that there's a couple different tasks that the dashboard is telling me I need to do. So there's transactions that are unmatched, meaning there's no receipt for the transaction. There's expenses, but someone hasn't uploaded the receipt. So I'll show you guys how we can follow up on the receipt chasing and take it out of email, out of text, out of phone calls, and automate it within Vergo to send reminders to your team in the field. Project managers automatically say, hey, there's a transaction, I need the receipt for it. There's transactions missing information. So this means that a transaction is missing one or all pieces of a coding field, meaning it has not been coded to a project, does not have a cost type or cost item, does not have a GL account. And then this third one is there are receipts that have been uploaded, but they're blank. So I have a receipt, but no one's told me what project to allocate this to. And then once all these are, eliminated down to zero, and I can kind of complete all my tasks for the day or for the week, I can see which expenses are waiting to be approved by either a project manager, an admin, finance team, the CEO themselves. And then I can see how many expenses have been approved and they've gone through the whole chain of process, but they have not yet been reported to our ERP. And again, with all the integrations that we have, it's specific to construction. So if you are on a construction-based ERP, we connect with you and we can pull in all of this information in real time, saving you a lot of time. So first I'll go over to the card section, and I will see that this is where you can add, basically it's a virtual card that connects your physical in real life card with the last 4 digits. And we do this because it allows us to marry the card transactions that are happening with the actual banking transaction. So within here, you can click on anyone's business card and you can get an overview of what it is. You can give it a nickname. You can see if it's for a credit account. You can create a new card, and you can create a user and connect this card to a user so you know who's spending on the card. And by selecting a user, entering the card type that you would like, entering the card number, which we don't save any of this data, it's just connected to the last 4 digits of your card. And then giving the card a nickname if it's a card that you use for a specific purpose. So it can be for project Franklin Street. And by creating this card, I'm actually connecting the card itself to the Visa network or Amex network, MasterCard network, whatever network that your card is on. Card will be created, and then any expenses on those cards that are coming through will come through in our dashboard in real time, which is also a very unique thing that Vergo has that no one else does. So this card in this account is now connected, and the transactions, when I go to swipe, it will actually bring it into our account. So we will go to the transaction screen where like all of the work happens. This is where we can see all the transactions that my cards of my whole company have taken place, what the date is, the merchant, the amount, what user has made that purchase. And then you'll see coding fields that are tailored to your preferences as well as your ERP that you would like. So I can see here that my team has made a lot of expenses, but no coding has happened for any of these line items. So we have a lot of work to do. And this all pulls in real time. And you can also customize the dashboard to your liking, however you would want to show the column. So you can remove, if I just have to input a GL account, that's the main thing that I need to do. So I'm going to remove all the others. And now I have this cleaned up dashboard that's ready to go that I can add some of this data to. So you can customize the dashboard. You can search by specific dates. So I have a couple expenses that were made today. I can search for today and show just the work and manipulate the data that I want, so I can start to filter down and work on matching up all of my expense reporting, all of my receipts to these transactions to move to my ERP. Some of our clients do that week to week, and they've moved from a month to month chasing and follow up to actually closing out their books essentially, and getting all of their expenses in order at the end of the week. And it saved them a lot of time at the end of the month on follow-up for missing items. So another thing that I can see is this expense is missing a receipt. It doesn't have a memo, and then the status is blank. So status has 2 different statuses. It can be approved or it can be reported. And approval means, hey, it's good to go. It's been checked. It has all of the account information that's needed to then report to the ERP. You can download all this data in a CSV or a file of your specific ERP. You can sort it by the amount, merchant, date, ascending, descending. You can search based on date, merchant, amount. So if I typed in Lowe's, I can show all of my Lowe's transactions. I can manipulate this further. I can filter it by what, if it has a job or is missing a job. I can search for a job, again, pulling from all of my ERP database for a specific job. I can see if something has a memo, is missing a memo, has a receipt, missing a receipt, the status of it, or I can search by a specific user. So, I know that I have some transactions Kelly made today that I need to get done. I can filter it. I can minimize my workload, break it down, and make it really easy to digest. One of the biggest things that we see our customers doing is, what is missing a receipt? So all of these transactions are missing a receipt. Instead of chasing up everyone and following up with texts and phone calls, hey, do you have that receipt? I'm calling you again. An email, getting the receipt via email. We want to avoid all of that. We want everyone to collaborate within Vergo. We want to make it seamless and easy, insight to everything. So what you can see here is all the transactions on my expenses for my credit cards of all of my users that do not have a receipt. And the beauty is I can actually select on a single user, such as Kelly, and then by an action, I can send her a reminder via email or a text message that says, you have 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you select expenses missing that I need that information for. So just by a click of a button, you're following up with your team, you're getting in touch with them and making sure they're aware that there's a few pieces missing in order for your finance team to close things out quicker. So we'll go through the process together. Also on the notification section, I have none here, but if I am to send notifications to my team, it shows up here. In Kelly's account, it would say, hey, someone's notified you there's expenses missing, the number of expenses missing, so she knows what to do when she logs in. So let's go through a real life example, and we'll go through role by role basis. So we'll go from, someone on the field making a purchase, getting a physical receipt. The field team, we want to make it as easy as possible for them. They are doing a lot of work. This is the last thing on their mind a lot of times. And what we want to do is basically one click upload, take a picture of the receipt, tell me what job it's for, and you're done. So I'll show you how we do that, where a picture of a receipt is all you need in order for us to auto match using artificial intelligence that receipt with a specific transaction. It's kind of magic. So we'll go through the receipt section really quickly, and then I'll show you that real life demo on the phone. So in the receipt section here, you can see all of the receipts that my team has uploaded. I get insight to any files that the team is uploading. And then again, I can see based on a specific user who's uploaded what and where the receipt is in the process. So for Bill, right here, I can see that there's a couple receipts. This receipt today is actually missing a job, hasn't been inputted, is missing a memo. It does not have a match status, meaning has it matched to a transaction? That's a huge step in this process, is have we found the receipt and the matching transaction? So in case there's any audits, we have a digital backup of everything. So everything's backed up within Vergo. You can download a zip file of all the receipts at any given time to have confidence that we have all the files. So some of our customers still upload their files to their ERP, and some of them say they're in Vergo, I'm backed up, I'm good, I can keep them there, and we don't have to have that workflow and that process, saving us a little time. We can also see some statuses of the receipt. So when the receipt is actually uploaded, we use artificial intelligence again to pull the date, the merchant, the amount, any information we can about that receipt. So there's no more manual inputting of any of that in your ERP itself. So a lot of people would pull up a picture of the receipt on one screen, be entering it in manually, saving a lot of time here. So you would just take a picture of a receipt, such as this one. You can see that it's said the merchant is Michael's. It pulls the date, the amount, and I can add a memo here. I can add a job here. I can add cost type, cost item, GL account if I'd like. I can manually match this receipt to a transaction, or I can delete the receipt. And you'll see as I add this job here of Riverbank Retail, it is now in the dashboard for all of my finance team to see in real time. And so now that I've added a job, the missing piece is, how do I match this receipt to an actual transaction? How do I marry those two pieces of data for that expense to be reconciled? And we'll go through that with the phone demo. So I believe that's it. So I'll hop in the phone demo now and kind of show you what the field team will see and go through. Cool. So here's my phone. I have the Vergo app pulled up here, and just by clicking it, I am in the dashboard. Let me log in one more time. I'm in the dashboard. I want to upload a new receipt. So if I'm on the field and I just used my credit card, I'm going to get a notification on my phone that says, please upload a receipt for this expense. I'm going to tap on new receipt, like to add a receipt. I can take a photo of this receipt, or I can actually upload one from my phone that I've already taken. Yes, I'd like to use this phone. Now we get a screen that says, our computers, our artificial intelligence are processing the receipt. We're scanning it for the date, the merchant, the amount. You can add any additional details below if you'd like, or you can skip the screen. So as someone on the field who's just made a purchase, I can add this to framing materials, or team lunch would be more accurate for this Chipotle receipt, but just as an example. And then I can add a job. So Whispering Pines Residential, I'll add it to that job. I can add to the cost type, cost item if I am someone who has that information, or I can even add a GL account if it's more of a finance team's position to code. So from here, I can click done. And again, I can go in and manually add date, merchant, and amount, but to make it as easy as possible on your team, we want to use artificial intelligence. We want to leverage computers. We want to say, you don't need to manually enter anything. Just take a picture of the receipt, say that you're done, and be done with it. So back in the Vergo dashboard, I will refresh the page, and that Chipotle receipt will be coming in here. And we can see it here. It shows in the scan status that the system is processing the information, but we can already see that the job has pulled in. So Whispering Pines Residential Estate, I already know that there's something coming in for this job, and this receipt is processing. I can see that someone has added a memo to this receipt. So clicking into it, I can see framing materials, the memo. So it's still processing the receipt, still coming through. I'm going to refresh the page, and usually this only takes a couple seconds. And we can see that every piece of detail about this receipt has now been pulled into the Vergo dashboard. We can see that it's Chipotle for $12.88. This is a bit of an older receipt, so August 4th. We can see that a job has been added, the memo has been added, and the scan status is complete. So from the field team's perspective, they're done. They uploaded a receipt in one click, they added a job to it, and now the finance team can do what they do and match this to a transaction and reconcile this receipt. So that's where this match status piece comes in. Match status means, does this receipt have a matching transaction yet? If I go over into the transaction page, I have in our account here, I've made a transaction for this receipt. So Chipotle bill, it does not have a job, cost type, cost item, GL account yet. This transaction is missing a receipt. It's missing a memo. And the status, the approval status of this transaction is blank. So another beautiful thing about our artificial intelligence is our computers are working in the background to find a match, find this receipt and its transaction. This receipt, just for demo purposes, is an older receipt. So the date is off on the transaction date here. So January 31st, 2024, today's date. We will change that, January 31st, 2024. So just for our purposes here, we will change that date. And the transaction and the receipt are now trying to find each other. So the field team is off. They've done everything they need to do. And now the finance team is just waiting for this receipt to come through on the transaction side. Given that it's a demo, given that I want to speed things up, I'm going to also show you another feature. So this will come through, it will match to the transaction eventually, and it will find itself and it will pull up into the transaction page, leaving our finance team not to have to follow up for anything. They already know what jobs it's for and they've matched it to a transaction, so they can start to reconcile that expense. I'm going to manually match this, which is also another option. So if there's some sort of error or some sort of issue, you can actually manually match this to the transaction. So it's pulling from the transaction page. I can search for a number of things to find that receipt, such as the name or the date. And now in the transaction side, if I come back over here, I have this receipt that has come through and matched to a transaction. And again, in the auto matching process that runs while you're sleeping, while your team is working on other things, our computers are always matching the receipts to the transaction. Sometimes it takes a few minutes. Sometimes it's a lot quicker than that. So since this transaction date and the receipt date don't match up, I wanted to manually match it and show that feature for you, but it's always working in the background to find the receipt to a missing transaction. I see that this transaction now has a receipt. The receipt and the transaction have been married and the job has come through. So Whispering Pines and all of the information here, it says that this transaction has a matched receipt. It shows me the card holder, the card number that's for, the file. I can see the job. I can enrich the information, or if the receipt is for some reason not actually matched this transaction, I can unmatch it. I can add all this information here in the sidebar, or what we see our finance teams liking a lot is the user experience of being able to click into here, tabbing over to cost type, cost item, GL accounts, everything that's pulling from your ERP. It will find and search for all of the accounts that you have set up in there. So it's a cascading down from your ERP being the primary source of data and information coming down into our system and being able to be added here. So I can add any and all fields that I would like, or none of them. And then the approval process, which is also beautiful. You know, where is this transaction? If you have a large finance team, who's worked on what, who's approving of what, who's reporting what, that's where our approval system comes in, and it's really beautiful. So I can click on this. I can see that there's a couple actions here. I can approve this transaction. So now I can see that, hey, this is ready to go. It has all the information that it could possibly need. And then additionally, I can report that transaction. And I can mark it that I've synced it to the ERP. I would like to report this transaction and push it to my ERP. And now the transaction is reported. Another great time saver is I can approve multiple transactions, and this will overwrite their reporting. I can bulk action. Say I have all of these. Sorry, I just clicked back. But say I have the last 5 transactions in my account are for the same job, but I don't want to go through and add each job here and add the cost type and cost item. What if they're all the same? Or what if a user has created all of the same, is only working on a single job? I can filter all of Bill Smith. I know Bill Smith is working on Whispering Pines only. So I want to say all of Bill's transactions are for Whispering Pines. Now that will have updated all of the transactions I selected for Bill and giving bulk actions to your workflow and your process. Eliminating manual repetitive tasks is kind of a key part of what we want to do as Vergo. Creating a smooth process from the field team, project managers, the back office, and then ultimately giving your upper management insight into what's going on in your business, analytics, insights, and tools. So here is the transaction that we entered. It's been reported, it's done. And now we can reconcile this transaction and move on to the next batch. So anything that has a status of none and that is missing a receipt is like basically my workflow. So if I have not approved it and it's missing a receipt and it's missing a job, that's something I want that needs a lot of attention. And again, I can select this and I can remind Kelly through email, through text message. I can click remind and remind her that there's things that need her attention in order for me to do my job in the back office. So this is Vergo in a nutshell. This is a quick overview. We have some additional features as well as grouping of expenses. So if your team is 30, 40, 50 people or more, it helps to work within groups for expenses purposes. So upper management, project managers, a project itself, and that's where teams comes in. So you can actually group expenses by a team itself, and you can say the Pines project that we were working on, and then I want to add Bill and Kelly. And by adding and creating this team, I can now have insight to just this team's expenses. I can have it so any project manager within that team, any kind of upper level admin within the team only sees those transactions, only sees those expenses, further breaking down the reconciliation that needs to happen for these expenses. So filtering that information. I don't want to see the whole company. I just want to see the people that I need to focus on and the team that I need to focus on in that moment, specific user, specific job, specific merchant. So this is how we envision a much cleaner receipt management, expense management, little chasing up, deep insight to analytics and tools, giving you overview of what actions need to be happen. I have 7 unmatched transactions. I got to find the receipts for those. I have 7 transactions that are missing jobs. I got to get the project information for those. I have receipts, but they're blank. I got to get project information for that. I have approvals of certain expenses that need to happen, or I have expenses that need to be reported. So I'm caught up on that at least. And by linking all these tools, all of this technology together, we can really alleviate a lot of workflow within expense management, receipt tracking, and we focus on desires and people's roles within the company. So the field team wants something easy to use. Project managers want oversight. The back office needs as much information as quickly as possible in order to do things in real time instead of at the end of the month chasing people up. And then ultimately the CEOs want to give their team the proper tools so the business can run smoother. You can bid on more projects. You can be more profitable. You can have deeper insight. So that is a quick overview of Vergo, and I will give it back to Rich.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jordan. Yeah, I hope that was a good overview for everyone. Just kind of throwing up a quick case study here. So as Jordan mentioned, like we're really designed for any size of team inside construction. This case study in particular was basically a team of like 3 or 4 people in their accounts payable team, really kind of like working together to get receipts done. And through Vergo, they were able to kind of just like give that role and responsibility to just one of the team members and really save like hundreds of hours, which is kind of like what we're trying to push is like the value of Vergo. All those kind of like death by 1,000 paper cuts is what we kind of hear a lot of times. And yeah, as I mentioned kind of at the beginning of the call, we'll be in touch afterwards if you have any more questions or follow-ups. But we're also very transparent on how you have different options out there. There's the Concors of the world, which are designed for just a generic business. As you can see, ours is like very construction focused. And then there are credit cards that you can get out there, which are designed for construction companies, but there's the whole pain of switching cards and stuff. So we like to think of ourselves as fitting somewhere in the middle. But yeah, thanks so much for all your time. I know how busy everyone is. And as I mentioned, we'll be in touch. And yeah, have a great rest of the week, everyone. Thank you so much.